Hey guys, welcome to another lecture from Python 0 to Hero, and in this lecture we're going to be looking at tuples. So tuples are just like lists but with one key difference, and that is immutability, meaning that once an element is inside a tuple, it is impossible to reassign it. Okay? And unlike list, tuple uses parentheses and not brackets. Okay, so in this lecture, we're going to be learning how to construct tuples. We're going to be looking at basic tuple methods. We're going to be looking at what immutability is. And finally, we're going to look at why we would use tuples. Okay, so let's get right into it. So here I've opened up a new Jupyter notebook, and the first thing I'm going to do is rename it. Okay, so let's start by creating our first tuple. Okay, so the construction of a tuple uses parentheses as mentioned before, and the elements are separated by commas. Okay, so I'm going to create my first tuple. I'm going to name it tup, and the values inside it is going to be 1, 2, and 3, which is separated by commas. So let me just run that. Let me check it. Okay, so just like in list and strings, we can check the length of the tuple, which will give us 3, just like that. And also, tuples can have a mixture of different object types. Okay, so let's reassign the tuple first. So let's say I'm going to put initial there, 21. Okay, so as you can see, tuple can hold different object types. Here we have a string, here we have an integer, and here we have a floating point. And just like a string and list, we can also perform slicing and indexing in tuples. Okay, so let me just index that. And we can also slice. And there you go. So that's slicing and indexing in tuples. Now let's look at some basic tuple methods. Okay, so I'm going to create a markdown. Basic tuple methods. Tuples have built-in methods, but there are not as many as list. So let's look at them. Tup dot. As you can see, there are 2 built-in methods for tuples. So this method will basically return the index of the entered value. Okay, so let's see what the index of initial is. It would be 0. Let's see what the index of 21 is. It would be 1. Okay, now let's have a look at another method, count. So what this method does is it counts the number of times a value appears. Okay, so let's just see how many times 21 occurs. It occurs once. Okay, that's correct. However, if we add another 21, run that, and let's count how many times 21 appears again. Now it's 2. Alright, so that's the methods in tuples. Now let's look at immutability. Let's turn that into markdown. Okay, so keep in mind tuples main characteristic is that it's immutable. Okay, so key point to take away from this lecture is that tuples are immutable, meaning they cannot be changed. Let's try to change the value of index 1, of the value in index 1. Okay, let's try to change it to Bob. As you can see, it gives us an error that says tuples object does not support item assignment. Alright, and also because tuples are immutable, tuples cannot grow. So once a tuple is made, we cannot add to it. Let's try anyways for the sake of this lesson. So let's try to add, append. Let's try to append. Let's try to append one. As you can see, we get an error. All right. So as you can see, it has limitations as there aren't many methods available in tuples like a list does. Okay, so you might be thinking, why would you use a tuple over a list? And the reason being is that due to its immutability, okay? So if your program is passing around the object and you need to make sure that the values don't change, then you'd use tuple. So tuple basically provides a convenient source of data integrity. Alright, that is the main reason to use tuple over list. Alright, so that's the end of this lecture. I hope you guys enjoyed and thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.